Big Little Lies, episode 2, season 2, episode 2.
Tell me lies, tell me big little lies.
Tell me lies. I have fallen in love with the light of Northern California.
Oh,
it's such a beautiful place.
First of all, doesn't the whole damn thing just look?
It looks
so
brilliant.
Good.
The grade, the colour, the cinematography, the landscape, the interiors. I mean, it sounds like all this is incidental stuff, but they all come together.
No.
Now, interestingly, this is an episode directed by Andrea Arnold, who is one of Britain's leading female directors. She is a cinema director, Andrea Arnold, yeah. And you felt that this was very much being controlled by a very, very talented director. It's an incredibly, if you start to unravel all of the various threads of storyline and everything, it's quite something, isn't it?
It's funny because I'm reading a Liane Moriarty book at the moment, who wrote it, and obviously the dramas are actually much denser because she's single. But she is great at weaving those stories in, and we've got so many stories and subplots.
I'd be interested to know whether she's as great at weaving those stories together as the directors and in all the incredible talent are that are doing it in these programs. Well,
that's what I'm saying. It's not as good as the drama, but she writes the stories, and they are great. They're great webs of.
Well, I thought this episode started absolutely brilliantly, where we had smoky-eyed Nicole Kidman at the wheel of the car. Driving along, I didn't see this coming.
You jumped out of
my bloody skin. She crashed.
I was lucky because I was a little removed because I was still making the tea, but you screamed your head off.
But she smashed because she'd taken a sleeping tablet or something. I thought she was drunk, didn't you?
Well, and also she wasn't because they did a breathalyzer and
No, I'm saying she.
I
thought she was drunk.
But she's so traumatised, isn't she? Imagine what that's like, because of course her husband was, it was a very obviously horrifically abusive relationship, but she was also madly in love with him
and attracted to him. And as she says to Meryl Streep later in the film, later in the episode, she says something like, we were very ill because it would be violence that led to sex. Very, very, very.
So how do you grieve something like that? And you've got these two beautiful boys that they tried
to. Do you think they're trying to suggest she's almost getting a thrill still from some of the remembrances of sex with him? Is there still that frisson?
No. I tell you what I did find difficult with this episode, how easily she's taken on the son that was raped, came about by her husband raping her friend.
I don't feel she's easily taken him on at all.
Nice. No, I think she has.
I thought that was quite well. That was the end. That's the final sequence of the episode, wasn't it? When they all came together. Zoe.
No, when she said, "Oh, you're not cashing the checks. It's just as much his money as the boys." It all just seemed a bit. But anyway, we do digress.
Anyway,
brilliant opening.
One character that is irritating the pants, I think, off us both, but certainly me, is Zoë Kravitz. Okay, so theoretically she was more responsible than the others, but really we all know she wasn't.
I think she's the least good actress in it.
She's the least convincing.
I think that's... maybe it's just the character. She's sort of that smug hippie. I hate smug hippies.
I'm not happy. I'm not a fan of vandals in sandals, but here's the thing. I do find any scene where you introduce a character where they're walking along a sort of road or highway is a bit forced. I didn't believe that she'd be hiking at the beginning anyway.
And yet, she's murdered a man.
Yeah, but she pushed him. She didn't mean to.
Yeah, but she's responsible for somebody's death.
Yeah.
And she's terrified that if the lies come out, she's going away. Don't forget, this is America. Yeah. She'd be at the electric chair.
One of my guilty pleasures in this season, or certainly this season, is the tension between Reese Witherspoon and Meryl Streep.
So good.
Isn't it great?
So bloody good. Because of course Meryl Streep's character that says all these awful things. A lot of the time she's right. We love Reese's character, but she is a madam.
She's like a Jack Russell.
Yeah.
She's like a randy Jack Russell who shags theatre directors.
And I have to say, Reese Witherspoon is so on point with it.
She's so good.
Oh my God,
she's just the right side of irritating, isn't she? She's not at all afraid. Now, I think this episode also delivered us some of the greatest potential future memes from Laura Dern.
Oh my God, she was so good. This sudden next shot, so we've had the shock of Nicole Kidman almost dying in the car, and then suddenly the FBI arrive and take off Laura Dern's
at the very moment she's showing off about appearing in front of a magazine.
What's been happening here? What's this part of the story? And actually, the whole drama was like that, wasn't it? It was just full of surprises.
But didn't you just love the way her mouth, always Laura Dern's mouth, turns into a square? Good. She actually turns into a square.
She reminded me of me a bit when I lose my rag.
But what about, I'm not going to be rich? I'm not going to be rich. What about that bit? You saying I'm not going to be rich?
What about when she throws him out of the car? That could have been me.
Oh, well, I mean, that was just like us.
Get out of the car!
That was just like us.
That was so
And of course, they do lay the groundwork in this episode in part 1 of Kidman's kids at school. There's rumour chat happening, and we begin to discover that Reese Witherspoon's rather loose mouth and gossipy chops, is getting everyone into trouble.
Well, yes, because her daughter, her youngest daughter, has overheard her saying that Nicole Kidman's twin sons have a brother.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't know the character's name, the woman that was raped.
No, I don't know, but the lovely girl from Fault in Their Stars or Fault in Her Stars.
Yeah, and there was a very heart-wrenching scene where she has to tell him that, that was his dad because he's been told at school.
And he's heard the word assaulted.
No, but he didn't say that. You spoiled it. He said, Mum, they said you were salted.
Oh.
Didn't you get that?
No, I didn't get that at all, no.
What does that mean, Mum? Salted. And she does like a little laugh because it's cute.
I didn't get that at
all. But at the same time, look back on it because I loved that. Mum, she says you were salted.
Oh.
You imagine the confusion of that as a child.
Yeah, it was like me with Russian hour.
And then she has to lie there and explain, no, it wasn't salted, she was assaulted. Oh, it was just heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And so we have more scenes. I think Kidman's very good in those shrink scenes. She was in the first season, don't you? I think they're very convincing. Really good. And those flashbacks.
I mean, actually, the way that we find out that the little boy's been told that he's the brother of the twins is that Meryl Streep's character, Nicole Kidman's mother-in-law, comes furious with it because the twins have told her when she's been putting them to bed.
Yeah.
And she is gathering information.
I mean, Meryl Streep is there and has been there from the get-go.
To put them all in it.
Well, she knows something's afoot. She doesn't get... And the thing is...
Because her boy was perfect.
Well, and also, even if her boy wasn't perfect, does she have... Okay, so he was an unspeakable brute. But did he necessarily... Is killing him the right way to meet justice? And as his mother... Is she not in her right to want to actually get to the bottom of what actually happened?
Of course, because she's not going to believe her son was a violent rapist.
No.
Or maybe she does.
Well, there's that very tender, kind of almost trying to be tender. I thought it was a very powerful scene between Kidman and Streep, when Nicole Kidman was trying to say to her, look, he wasn't perfect, your son, and Streep just wasn't having it, was she? She was kind of like resisting the suggestions. And there was a very clever moment, which I thought was really well done, again, all credit to the director, where when Kidman's in with the shrink, and the shrink's taking her back to the violence, she says to her, replace yourself with your friend and see how you feel about it. And then Reese Witherspoon was put in there.
We have these flashbacks.
Very clever flashbacks of Reese being beaten up.
Because that's what he used to kick her in the stomach as hard as he could, didn't he?
I thought that was very clever and very powerful. And I think it's an interesting series on domestic abuse.
I absolutely...
Isn't it? On the systematic...
I have never said this before, that we got to the end of it and I said, you didn't. I said, I could watch that again.
I could watch it again. It's very rich and it feels like every single scene, even however incidental. So, for example, you've got, Laura Dern and her husband's moments are so, he gets bail, he's been done for wire fraud. They have the brilliant scene in the car where she's driving off and she does what Nadia does, except Nadia's never driving, which is pulls over, gets him to step out of the car.
I get him to pull over and I get out of the car.
And there was that great line that she said, wasn't it? I used to like sitting on your face or something, wasn't it? Didn't he say something about... And she was just... And then she drives off and she's sticking her fingers up out of the top of the... She's just absolute expletive. Bonkers. Worried that she's going to lose her money. Worried that she's dug herself up from poor origins, and she's going to lose her house and everything.
This is my childhood. This is everything I worked to avoid.
Absolutely. And then so there was a big other plot with Kravitz's mum. Zoë Kravitz's mum came in. She was good.
Wasn't she beautiful?
She was beautiful, and she was a great. I thought she was a good actress. She's all a bit crystally.
She's very familiar.
I mean, obviously
I think she's going to be a really interesting character.
I think she's going to be key.
She alluded to the alcoholism. She's an alcoholic.
Yeah, who's an alcoholic?
The mum.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that either.
Because, Lenny, what's her name? Kravitz says to her, you're drinking wine again. And she says, just one. And she goes, one, but not 100.
So do you think it's all the mothers of the women that are going to reveal everything in this series? Meryl Streep and
we're going to
Zoe
see
Kravitz,
why the women are the way they are, because we're going to meet their mothers.
Yes. Well, and then the biggest thing that happens towards the end of this episode is Reese Witherspoon in a toe curling scene with her eldest daughter.
Her eldest daughter talks about her shagging the drama teacher,
theatre director,
and the husband's
at the doorway.
I felt
so sorry for him.
He really loves her, and she hasn't been interested.
And he's tolerated actually so much already.
And it's such a half-hearted attempt she makes to keep him, and it's not us, and it's
it was. I felt she was digging into real experience there. That all felt so real, and
she's
I felt
a very good actress. She really
Reese, she's fucking good. They're all. The thing is, this is peerless, topless, brilliant. Not topless. That's wrong. None of them are topless, are they? Peerless. I meant top of their game. Peerless, topless actresses just giving it great. It's getting worse by the minute.
Are you all right?
So I thought this was an absolute, and then I thought the whole episode ended with I thought it was a very tender scene where the boys were all brought together.
And we cannot wait until next week.
Episode 3 next week.
Leave your comments below.
What do you think? Are you enjoying it? Do you like Nicole Kidman? Do you wish they were all topless? I don't know.
Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'd really appreciate it.